Hey there, it's me again, this time in a very special location. This is Nevermind the What, a show where I talk with musicians in the New York City area and beyond. My name is Evan O. Adams, I am your host, and today I am joined by Alex Ring Gray.
Hello.
Alex Ring Gray is a composer, improviser, and multimedia artist. His work explores the natural world, often manipulating it through electronic means. Much of his music deals with textures that envelop the listener, begging to be heard with attentive ears and tranquil abandon alike. Alex is a student of both Julia Wolfe and Michael Gordon, and a copyist for Phillip Glass. Caught up with Alex in the basement of NYU's music building, hoping to gain some insight into his life and thoughts as a musician. Hey there, Alex. Thanks for sitting down with me in my very special set.
Thank you. It's very nice here.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. It's the best basement I could find.
I can tell.
Thanks. So, you're a musician, you're a composer.
I am.
And I know you started off doing jazz, right?
Yeah.
What was your journey from being a jazz musician to being a concert composer?
So I guess it actually kind of even predated jazz. My background was really I came up in school bands.
Gotcha.
But I was a saxophonist, and when you're in the school band and as a saxophonist, it's like you either play jazz or you're boring. So I started playing jazz and I got really into that, and then I started at college studying jazz at the University of Tennessee.
Gotcha.
And when I got there, my mind really kind of opened up to new avant-garde music. And while I really liked the jazz program there, it wasn't so much on that side of things. So I kind of just started drifting more and more over to, these avant-garde topics. And I joined a free improv ensemble and stuff, and started taking all these avant-garde musicology courses that dealt with feminist theory and performance art and stuff. And so by the end of it, I did 2.5 years of jazz studies, and kind of the whole time was crossfading into composition and musicology as I went. So
Right.
ended up leaving with a jazz minor, but graduating as a double in musicology composition.
Gotcha. So I guess talking specifically about your music, you use drones a lot.
I do use drones a lot.
What draws you to drones?
It's a couple of different things. I've always really liked them since I was a kid,
Really?
but I don't think I really recognized it until really after maybe the end of undergrad. But I remember as a kid, I'd be in the shower and the fan comes on and it's just this constant hum, and I would just harmonize with it all the time and just sing along with it.
Yeah.
I remember specifically I'd always sing Amazing Grace against it because you get some really nice seconds.
Oh, yeah.
And then I would also just try to sing dissonances with it. I don't know. And then I got to college and I started composing, and I kind of realized that you get a really nice tension when you use a drone, because if you do any type of modulation away from it, you get these really nice beatings. So to me, it's not so much about just droning out, but it's more about actually hearing the tension in the music, if you will, and it's a constant reminder of what's there instead of just the implication of common practice music, quote unquote, where it modulates but it still sounds pretty. I like to keep the reminder that we have modulated.
Right. So it sounds like it's more harmonic based.
It is, which is
texture.
Yeah, it's both. I also like it because you really do get to dive into textures and say, okay, we're going to really just listen deeply to this, kind of in the Pauline Oliveros, school of thought, I guess. So it's both of those things, the harmonic stuff and the textural stuff.
Okay, that's really interesting. When you write a piece that uses a drone texture, are you wanting the audience to kind of zone out and just kind of enjoy the experience, or are you more interested in having them actually listen intently so they can hear, like you mentioned earlier, the harmonic shifts and how they interact with what happened before?
Kind of both. Sometimes I will intentionally just let it be consonant for a while, and then I'll start putting in these really tight quarter tones, and that's kind of when I want to reinstate the act, or re-engage the mind, I guess. But I guess another reason I kind of like ambient music in general and drones and stuff is because I'm so guilty of going to concerts and kind of just spacing out and admittedly dozing off if it's 9:30 p.m. and we're an hour and a half into a concert and I've been working all day.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like when I'm writing music, I want to give somebody the permission to do that at the concert. Like, okay, here's your break. Just
Right,
it's okay
yeah.
to take a nap.
Yeah.
So, when I first got into ambient music, the idea actually was like I need something that I can just listen to when I'm going to sleep. So I would
Right.
like write these like 20-minute long pieces that I would just like fall asleep to. So I don't know.
Gotcha.
It kind of does act as a feel free to space out.
Gotcha. And
Yeah.
what kind of like ratio? Because I know you do, like I said earlier, a lot of electronic composition.
Sure.
When you do, I guess in general, when you do your composition work, do you tend more towards electronics? Do you tend more towards acoustic instruments, or do you like try to do a combination? Or
I really try to combine as much as I can. I have, some things that are completely one or the other, but I really do like blending the two because I think, acoustic instruments have so much expression to them and they have such a rich tradition, but I also think electronics are just so capable of doing so many things that acoustic instruments aren't. So I feel like when you combine the two, you can really find this great middle ground between the two and kind of get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I know you write music,
I do.
but you also copy music.
I do copy music.
Also, I've noticed because I've seen your scores, and they're always like really well laid out, and they're always like, very beautiful.
Thank you.
So I'm curious, like, even though you do it for money and you do it for a job, you do it for yourself too. And really, you don't have to do it for yourself.
Right.
So like, where did that come from?
So when I was an undergrad, the way I paid rent then, instead of copy work, was I was our School of Music's assistant graphic designer, or assistant to their graphic designer, I guess you could say.
Right.
So I got really into that, and when I moved here, I just kind of didn't have the time to do that anymore. So I think in a way I've kind of channeled that into my scores, and I've also, since as a composer, I've always been very interested in notation and what's the most efficient way to get this done in a rehearsal. Like, I on one hand, I want my scores to look very cool, but on the other hand, I also want them to be straight to the point and efficient, so that practical, and in rehearsal people just know what I want immediately.
Right.
So I think to me, getting into copy work was kind of the alternative to getting into graphic scores.
Gotcha.
It was like, part of me really wants to make really cool scores, but the other part of me just wants it to be really nice and simple. So
I think there's something to be said for just making a score that looks really nice, even if it's just standard notation.
Right. So yeah.
So I know last year you released an EP. Was it EP or LP?
It was an EP.
An EP. It's called Apollo, yeah?
I did, yeah.
What was that about?
It's called Apollo, and it's literally just a celebration of the Apollo 11 moon landings. It's just a 3-track EP. One of them is like 12 minutes long, so I think the whole thing comes out to about 20 minutes. Background there is, when I got in high school, just like out of nowhere my junior year, I just like kind of became a huge nerd out of nowhere. Like I got super into physics, and like before that I like did not really care about STEM at all or anything. And I don't know what happened, but something just like triggered in my mind, and I got super into physics and astronomy, and I like at 17 and 18 years old went to space camp. And it was so this past summer was the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 missions, and while I'm not doing that for a living, like I thought at one point I would be doing, it's still something I'm really passionate about. And so yeah, I kind of had been working on some ambient tracks anyways, and was like, okay, it was like the day of, and I was like, oh my gosh, I got to do something to celebrate this. So I just like strapped myself down to my desk and like just pumped out 3 tracks really fast.
Yeah. So it was, you performed all the parts, or you programmed the parts?
A bit of both. Some of them, kind of MIDI'd in, and then all the like really ambient droney stuff I just performed straight ahead. So.
Okay. So do you have any projects other than your recital coming up soon you're excited about?
Forthcoming, I have a saxophone ensemble piece I'm writing for this group in Knoxville. They're commissioning a couple of people who are all kind of around my age. All were composers at the University of Tennessee at the same time. So working on a piece for them right now, and it's a group of like 16 saxophonists. So I'm like really excited to see what I can do with that.
You're also writing for the NYU Contemporary Ensemble.
I'm writing for NYU Contemporary Ensemble. Just turned that piece in, and I'm looking forward to hearing that.
Yeah,
and you're writing for the NYU Contemporary Ensemble?
I am as well, and that concert takes place early May.
As well. Oh, and then I'm taking this dance class, so I'm going to be writing a lot of dance music, and I'm taking a class with legendary Morton Subotnick, who teaches here at NYU, and the class is essentially a seminar in electronic composition, so I'll be writing stuff for that.
That sounds very relevant as well to your interest.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a writing for Beethoven. I'm taking that class too.
Nice.
So this is a very busy writing semester,
Nice,
which I'm
that's good.
very glad about, because last semester I took a whole bunch of very research-intensive classes, and I felt like I hardly wrote anything. So
Oh, that's cool, and I'll be sure to put those dates in the description.
thank you.
Yeah, so
Appreciate
people come see you.
Well, you too. I think you're going to be on half those concerts.
Most of them, yeah. But you're the main event, so.
We'll see.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for sitting here and talking with me.
Of course. Thanks for talking to me. Good to be a friend.
Yeah, good to be bless you. Good to be a friend. And that's the end of the show. This is Nevermind the What, which is sponsored by Nevermind the Noise Composer Collective, which is a graduate student organization made up of NYU graduate student composers. If you want to know more about us, our social medias are here on the screen, as well as linked down below. Please follow us, stay up to date with what we got going on. There's always something going on, so that's the end. Bye.